Hi, this is Jessica with Dining Traveler, and welcome to part 3 of the Dining Traveler cooking series, where we make dishes from our favorite destinations. And for this edition, we're making something a little special. We are going all the way to Puerto Rico and making traditional holiday dishes. We're shooting on location at La Cosecha, which is a contemporary Latino market in the Union Market District of Washington, D.C. For this episode, we're gonna make arroz con gandules, que no puede faltar en la mesa puertorriqueña. It's a must-have when you're having a Puerto Rican Christmas party. So let's get started. I'm gonna go over the ingredients really quick, and like any Puerto Rican recipe, especially a family recipe, everybody has their version of making it. This is the one that I learned from my mom. Start with some rice, and it all depends the amount of servings that you're gonna make. In our case, we're gonna make a big caldero. It's for a holiday party, 20-25 people, but we're gonna do 3 cups of rice, from 3/4 to a cup of sofrito, and you're gonna notice that I kind of fluctuate with the measurements, and that's something with our recipes. You kind of have to play it by eye, by taste. 1/2 cup of Spanish style tomato sauce, and that's the one you find at the supermarket with like the small can. Gandules, pigeon peas, and in some supermarkets I noticed sometimes it's with the beans section, but sometimes it's with the canned vegetable section. So if you can find it, just make sure you double check. Sazon, adobo, olives, make sure that they're pitted so nobody's biting into a seed. And this is annatto achote oil. And annatto seeds, the Spanish annatto seeds cooked in oil, and then you remove the seeds out. Very spoiled, my mom makes this for me. And salchichón. If you are vegan and you want to make it completely plant-based, what I do recommend is that you chop a small onion, maybe add some peppers, add some more vegetables to bring that depth of flavor on top of the sofrito. In my case, I'm gonna use salchichón. You can use pork belly, you can even use bacon, anything that can bring those flavors out. I've even heard of people using ham hocks, so you can go crazy. Again, this is just a blueprint and you can add your personal touch. So first of all, if you're gonna make arroz con gandules, you need a nice sturdy pan, a caldero, what we call in Puerto Rico and Latin America. And this one is very special because my mom gave it to me. She actually mailed it to me when I was stationed in Japan, and it has a special place in my heart. You wanna start with your caldero at medium heat, and we're gonna add oil. In my case, I like to add olive oil, but you can add vegetable oil, canola oil. And just cover the bottom. You don't wanna put too much because you don't want it to be super oily. We just added the salami first, so a lot of that grease can loosen up a little bit and get nice and toasty. So I would let this fry for around 3 minutes. You don't want it to overcook. The main thing with the achote is used to get that beautiful yellowish color to the rice. I like to start with, because it's still in oil, so you don't want it to get too greasy. You want to start with 2 tablespoons, and if the rice is still what we call a little bit hincho, a little bit pale, then you just add a little bit more, but just don't go too crazy because again, you don't want this like squishy rice, what we call in Puerto Rico, arroz esmogollado. Some people love it, not my thing. Now that we have all the base ingredients, we're gonna bring it up to a boil, 5 to 7 minutes for those flavors to really come together before we add the rice. I like to do a little taste test to make sure that it's not too salty, or if it's bland, just add a little bit more adobo or salt. That's good. And also if it's too salty, remember that the rice is gonna absorb a lot of that. So you can just like play around with those flavors. Now we're prepping the rice. Like I said before, we're doing 3 cups of rice. Just make sure you rinse it really well with cool water until you don't see that starch coming out from the bottom anymore. Now we're gonna add water. There's no set measurements because again, it depends on the quantity of the rice and the quantity of gandules that you're using. I like to start with 2 cups and keep on going up. The whole thing is that you wanna cover the whole rice with water up to almost an inch, like 3/4 of an inch to an inch. See, like, so that's not enough. So we're probably gonna add another cup so we can completely cover it. So now we added the water and we're just gonna let it cook uncovered between 15-20 minutes. Again, don't touch the rice, don't stir it right now because it's in the process of the rice absorbing the liquid. And just keep an eye on it, and then we are gonna check in once it's absorbed so we can give it a stir and cover it. Now that the rice has absorbed all the liquid, we're gonna cover it. We're gonna wait around 20 minutes. I would say like every 5 minutes or so, check in on it, give it a nice stir to make sure that it's cooking evenly. So for la pièce de résistance, for this nice little detail, again, is optional, but it's a trick that my mom taught me, and I feel that it really brings out the flavors of the arroz con gandules. It almost feels like a pastel, is to do a banana leaf when you have like probably 5 to 10 minutes before it's done. So now we check the rice and it's done. It usually, after it absorbs the liquid and we cover it, it can take anywhere, depending again with the quantity of the rice, between 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. We have a very special guest here, my friend Pedro, who's the owner of Gancata. You guys seen him in my other videos. And he's going to give us some tips on how to do wine pairings with Puerto Rican holiday food.
Excellent. Thank you, Jessica, for having us again here in La Cosecha. When we think about our holiday feast back home in Puerto Rico, we always think about obviously like delicious food, but the wine is super important to cleanse your palate with all the richness of some of our signature dishes. What we love about the wines that we showcase for parents, usually more on the lighter, brighter, more fruit-forward type of wine. So in this case, we picked an amazing old vine País. This is the first variety ever planted in Chile, over 400 years ago. And the wine showcases a bouquet aromatics of red cherries, pomegranate, nice acidity, medium body. It's ideal for the turkey, the pasteles, the arroz con gandules, the guineito en escabeche, because you want something more lighter than the food so you can complement and balance everything. Yes. So we're gonna try it. Jessica's gonna go first. These are Viñeteros Bravos. This is what we call in Gancata. It's an honest wine, a wine that's made with the true character of the terroir, the variety, and it's enjoyed back in Chile. So it's a wine that we love during the holiday season. This one we highly recommend doing a little bit of slight chill on it, so it shows a little bit better. And then we always swirl it around. Smell it. Has a little bit like dark fruit marmalade as well. You get a little bit nice intensity of mineral richness. Beautiful thing about this País that it grows in volcanic soil, so you get a little bit of smokiness on the finish. That's super enjoyable as well.
You taste a little bit of that earthiness.
Absolutely.
And is it just me, but I feel like a very, very slight effervescence?
Yeah. It's like lively, aromatic, beautiful. Let's give it a shot. Let's try it. So the wine showcases a very nice tannins, acidity that's super important when you're cleansing your palate with all the delicious Puerto Rican food that Jessica prepared for us. And make sure, it's a wine that you want to share with people, and make sure that you get a few bottles, but it will go down super fast.
And now for the true test, I'm going to share some arroz con gandules with Pedro.
Muchas gracias. Let's see.
¿Cómo va con el vino?
So, let's see. Delicioso, pasó la prueba.
Gracias.
So with the pigeon beans, remember the gandules and pigeon beans. I love the kind of the richness of the sofrito that I can taste on the rice. That's super important. Sometimes the sofrito, people forget about it, but it's super important. In Puerto Rican cuisine, the garlic as well. And I think with the wine, you can cleanse the deliciousness of your palate. I'm ready for more. So it's gorgeous.
And this is how we make arroz con gandules at Casa Dining Traveler. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or feedback, please leave it in the comments. A big thank you to my mom. Mami, gracias por compartir esta receta con nosotros. And thank you to La Cosecha for allowing us to use this gorgeous space. And now to the important part. I'm gonna try my arroz con gandules. Let me get a little piece here with the salchichón. Who loves salchichón as much as I do? Muy rico. Bye.